Yeah, hello everybody. It's a beautiful day. Let's continue with the questions. Let's solve more interesting questions on circle geometry. But before we go, I think we would have to go back to question 3 from the last video. Question that's 4C actually. I was right when I said the question wasn't, there was an omission in the diagram. So let's correct that first of all, and then we solve it. This is supposed to be 43 degrees. I omitted that. Now let's solve the question C. Let's solve 4C. Yeah, that's the first question I'm solving. That's 4C. Yeah, question 4C. Now, if this is 43 degrees, and that simply means A is also 43 degrees, and the reason for that is vertically opposite angles. So angle A is equal to 43 degrees. Now, this is a radius and this is also a radius, so that simply means this triangle is an isosceles triangle, which means its base angles are equal. So that means A and C are the same, so that simply means C is also 43 degrees. A equals C, and which therefore means C is also 43 degrees. A equals C because they are base angles of this isosceles triangle. Now we can find B now. B will be, we know that A plus B plus C is 180 angles in a triangle. A plus B, yeah, that's it, plus C is 180 sum of angles in a triangle, and that simply means C is the same as B rather is the same as 180 minus the sum of A and C, which means 180 minus 43 plus 43, and that's 180 minus 86. 180 minus 86, and that's 94 degrees. Angle B is 94 degrees. If angle B is 94 degrees, angle D is going to be 94/2. Twice angle D is B, and half B is D. Angle at center is twice angle at circumference, so that means B is 2D and D is the same as half B. So here D is going to be, angle D is 94/2. Angle at center equals twice angle at circumference, and that means 47 degrees. Yes, that's that very quickly. And now we move on to the next one, which is the last one we did before. We did in the last one we did the last time before we went on the break was 4D. So let's go to 4E. Let's go to 4E, question 4E. Yeah, this is 4E. Let me bring that here. 4E. These are very, very simple, and I can tell you it's no flattery that you can answer any question whatsoever on circle geometry, except there's an error somewhere in the question. If you know all of the rules and you are able to apply them correctly. Now let's see, this is another cheap one. O is the center of a circle wherever you see it. Alright, okay, I can see that this is a right angle triangle. This will also be right angled, so that simply means J, I and 90 are in a right angle triangle. So what do we do first here? Well, first of all, I know that the whole of this angle, I know that the whole of this angle is in a semicircle, and this is a semicircle. So that simply means the whole of this angle is actually 90 degrees. Angle in a semicircle is 90 degrees. So it means 53 plus k is 90 degrees. 53 plus k is 90 degrees. Angle 53 plus k equals 90 degrees. The whole of this is in a right angle, and the angle in a semicircle is the whole of this rather is in a right angle. It's in a semicircle rather, and it's a right angle. Angle in a semicircle is a right angle. So that means k is 90 minus 53, and that's equal to 37 degrees. Now that we know k, I can find I plus k. Of course, I plus k plus 90 equals 180 degrees. I plus k plus 90 degrees equals 180 degrees, and that means I plus 37 plus 90 equals 180, which means I equals 180 minus 127. Of course, 90 plus 37 is 127. 180 minus 127, which is 53 degrees. I is 53 degrees. Now to the next very quickly. Let's go to the next. Question F. Question F is, let me put that here. This is F. This is F. Now, where do we go from here? Of course, this is center O. O is the center wherever it is given. Now, let's see what's the first thing to do here. What's the first thing to do here? Alright, first of all, this, we can see that this is an isosceles triangle because it has two equal sides. This is an isosceles triangle, that not an isosceles triangle. This is an isosceles triangle, and that means its base angles are equal, which simply means M and 20 are the same. So angle M is also 20 degrees because the two of them are base angles of an isosceles, of this isosceles triangle. It has two equal lengths. Now let's go. What's next? What else can we find having known that? Okay, if I know this, no, let's see, what else can I do? Let's see, what else can I do? I already know that to be M. What else can I do? Alright, I can see that this, I can see that this is also, I can see that this is also an angle in a semicircle. N plus M is in a semicircle, so it is 90 degrees. The whole of this angle is 90 degrees, and that's N plus M, because we can say that it is in a semicircle. Now N plus M equals 90 degrees, and the reason for that is angle in a semicircle. So that simply means N equals 90 minus M, which means 90 minus 20, and that's 70 degrees. We have told you that the angle formed by any two lengths that form a triangle with the diameter of a circle is going to be the angle inside the semicircle, and its value is 90 degrees. That's just simply how to identify the semicircular angle. Now let's go to the next. What else can I find? I found N, I found M. Now I want to find P. What do I do? Okay, you just have to take your time to study the diagram to know which is which. Yeah, let's see. Let me make erase the markings on the diagram and make it clearer. Okay, now we can see that. What else? How do I find P here? Let's see. Okay, if this is, let's see, will that work? If I find this angle, I know that this angle plus this angle is 180 degrees because they are opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. But I don't know this tiny part. I don't know that yet. Can I find that? Let's see, what do I do here? How do I find P? Let's see. This is 20 nm, that's 20. This is P. Oh, that's correct. Now I got it. This is also, the whole of this is also 90 degrees because it's also in a semicircle. We can see that this length and this length form a triangle with the diameter of the circle. So the angle contained by the two lengths, this one and this one, is going to be 90 degrees. So that means the whole of it is 90, and that simply means this small angle will also be, that simply means this one will also be 70 degrees. Now if at 70 degrees too, how do we now find P? I already know 2. Okay, how do I now find P? If at 70 and this is, I hope this is not getting too clumsy. That's 70 and what else? Oh, okay, now I can see that this is also going to be the same as N. Yes, angles in the same segment. This angle will be the same as N. This is also N, and that means this angle is also 70 degrees. We can see that this angle and N are in the same segment. Yeah, that's correct. They are in the same segment. That's correct. If you look at this chord, you see that it divides the circle into this segment and this segment, and this segment, and you can see that angles N and 70, this is N, angles N and 70 are in the same segment. You can look at that. The trick that I always use to identify the same segment angles is to say that, let me show you that very quickly. The trick that I always use to identify the same segment angles is to check, first of all, the chord that divides the circle into two segments, and this is it. I can see the chord. Now I'll check the angles formed by two different pairs of lines which form a triangle with the same chord. First of all, let's look at this. Let me even mark that in a different color. Let's look at this length and this length form a triangle with this chord. So the angle between those two lengths, which is N in this case, is going to be equal to the angle between any other two lengths which also form a triangle with the chord. Now look at that. This length and this length also form a triangle with this chord. So that means the angle between these two lengths will be the same as the angle between these two lengths, because they both form a triangle with the chord that divides the circle into two different segments. So this angle and this angle are equal. And that's why this is 70 degrees. So that's it clearly. Let me remove all of the markings, erase all the markings on the diagram for clarity, and now we can continue. So if I have 70 degrees, I already know all the three angles inside. This triangle, and those are 90, 70, and P. So I'll be able to find the P now. So that simply means 90, the whole of this is 90. So that means P, angle P plus 90 plus 70 is 180 degrees, which simply means angle P is 180 minus 160 degrees. 90 plus 70 is 160, and that means P will be 180 minus 160 degrees, which means 20. P is 20 degrees simply. So that's a trick. You just have to take your time to study the diagram and to see the angles that are the same, and then step by step you'll be able to find whatever you are asked to find. That was a beautiful one, though a bit tricky. Now we go to the next, which is G. Let's go to G. G is, that's G, and that G is, that's G. Now let's see, we just solve any one that comes to mind first. Let's see, which one can I find first? Let's see, 60 plus 10, S plus V. Okay, the center is not given here. I hope I didn't omit it. The center. Let me see what's in the let's see if I can check the question to be sure. Okay, let's just go. Now here, 40 plus T. No, there should be same segment angles. Here. There should be same segment angles here, and I can already see them. If we look at this chord, look at this purple chord, we'll say that these two lengths, these two lengths form a triangle with that chord, and these two lengths also form a triangle with the chord. So the angles between those lengths are in the same segment. So that simply means V40 is the same as V, angles in the same segment, because this purple chord already divides the circle into two segments, this one and then this one. So that's the trick for identifying the same segment angles. Just check the lengths that form a triangle with that chord that divides the circle into two different segments, and the angles formed by those lengths which form a triangle with the chord are going to be the same segment angles, that the ones you say are in the same segment. So you can see that here, this line and this line form a triangle with the chord. So this angle and this angle, this line and this line also form a triangle with the chord. So this angle and this angle are going to be in the same segment. Now here, now let's go. The next is, so first of all I'm going to say V equals, angle V is 40 degrees, angles in the same segment. That's the reason for that, angles in the same segment. Now I know V. What else can I find? The next thing that occurs to me is this. I know that S plus V plus the whole of this is 180 degrees, opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral, and the whole of this is 70 degrees. So that means S plus V plus 70 equals 180 degrees. S plus V plus 70 equals 180 degrees, opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. If you want to put the reason there, that's what you write. That means S plus 40 plus 70. That's it. It might be a bit tricky, but if you take your time to study the diagram and apply the rules correctly, you'll get it. No matter how tricky it looks, you'll find that it is actually very, very simple. So that means S equals 180 minus 110. 40 plus 70 is 110, and that means S is equal to 70 degrees. Is S equal to 70 degrees? Yeah, that's correct. Angle S equals 70 degrees. That's it simply. Now to the next. What else can we find? I can see that I'm sure there are still more same segment angles. Let's find that. Yeah, I can see that U and 6C are in the same segment. Let's look at this. Look at this chord. If you look at this chord, we'll see that this length and this length form a triangle with the chord. So the angle between them, which is 6C, is going to be equal to the angle between any other two lengths which also form a triangle with this same chord. And these are the lengths. These are the other two lengths, this one and this one. They also form a triangle with this chord. So that means this angle U between them is going to be the same as this 60 degrees. So U is equal to 60, very simply. Angles in the same segment, U equals 60 degrees. And the reason for that is angles in the same segment. Now to the next. What's the next? Let's erase markings on the diagram first. Now the next is, we found V, we found S, we found U. I think we need T now. We can also see okay, I already know that the whole of V is S plus V. S plus V is 70, S is 70 and V is 40, so S plus V is 110 degrees. 110 degrees. I know U to be 60 already. U is 60 degrees, and that means I can find T simply. So T plus 110 degrees plus 60 equals 180 degrees. Angles in a triangle. Yeah, angles in a triangle. Sum of angles in a triangle, and that means T, which is this, is going to be 180 minus. So T is equal to 180 minus 110 plus 60. 110 plus 60 is 170, and that means angle T is 10 degrees. Yeah, that's very correct. Angle T is 10 degrees. V is 40, S is 70, and U is 60. Yeah, that's very correct. Angle T is 10 degrees. Now we're left with angle R and angle Q. Q, by the way, is just 180 minus the sum of 60 and 40. Q plus 60 plus 40 is 180 degrees. Sum of angles in a triangle. So Q plus 60 plus 40. Let me paste a tiny image of a diagram here if it's easy to see, to read that. Q plus 60 plus 40 equals 180 degrees, and that means Q equals 180 minus 100 degrees, and that's 80 degrees. Q is simply 80 degrees. What else? We need just R. Now we need let me paste a bolder image. Yeah, what else do we need? I found Q, T, S, V, U. I need only R. How do I find R? Well, let's see which angle. Okay, and now I can see that. You can see this chord. You can see this chord. It divides the circle into two segments. This one, and then this very, very big one. Minor. It divides the circle into a minor and a major segment. So now let's check the lines that form a triangle with this chord. These are the lines. We'll see that these lines form a triangle with the chord. So that means this angle in between, the angle between those lines and the angle between any other two lines that also form a triangle with the same chord, are going to be equal. We can say that this we can see that this line and this line also form a triangle with the purple chord. So that means this angle and this angle are in the same segment. So S equals R, and that simply means R is, what did we get for, what's the value of S? S is 70 degrees, so that simply means R is also 70 degrees. So now I think we found all of them. Those are the angles, and that's it. Very, very simply. Straight we go to the next. That's H. Let me paste that first. This is H. This is another very, very simple one. Question H. Now what do we do? First of all, if this is 126, then this will be 2 times 126. So W is 2 times 126 degrees, and that's 252 degrees. Angle at center is twice angle at circumference. I've told you to always take note that they face the same side. This one faces down, and the one at the center that will be 2 times, that will be double that, will also face down. So that's that. First of all, if I already know W, X, I know that X plus W is 360 degrees, sum of angles at a point. So that means X is 360 minus W, which means 360 minus 252, and that's 108 degrees. 108 degrees. What else? Y, I know that Y is twice, X is twice Y. Angle at center is twice angle at circumference. So that means Y will be X over 2, which means 108 degrees divided by 2, and that's 54 degrees. If Y is 54 degrees, that simply means angle Z is 180 minus 54. Sum of angles on a straight line. Y plus Z is 180 degrees. Sum of angles on a straight line, and that means Z is 180 minus Y. So Z equals 180 minus Y, which means 180 minus 54, and that's simply 126 degrees. 180 minus 54 is 126 degrees. So that's Z. Now I think we found all of them. X, W, Y, Z. That was a piece of cake. Now then we go to the next. Oh, that's the last one for now. All right, we'll take a break again and come back for much more interesting questions. Thank you very much, and make sure you do your homework. See you in the next. Bye bye.